Imagine the profound uncertainty of doubting your own perceptions, or the exhilarating freedom of forging meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. By the end of this exploration, you'll command the essentials of metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, existentialism, and beyond. Tools to dissect reality, knowledge, and morality with clarity and depth. For seamless navigation, the description below features timestamps for each major concept, allowing you to dive directly into what captivates you. We begin with the foundations. Metaphysics probes the nature of reality itself. Consider Plato's theory of forms. The tangible world we inhabit, objects, emotions, ideals, serves merely as imperfect shadows of eternal, perfect archetypes existing in a higher realm. True wisdom, Plato contended, emerges not from sensory illusion, but from intellectual assent to these unchanging forms. His pupil Aristotle offered a counterpoint, emphasizing empirical substance. Reality arises from the union of matter and form, as in a sculpture that embodies both raw marble and artistic intent. This grounded approach profoundly shaped scientific inquiry. Centuries later, René Descartes crystallized modern philosophy with cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. Amid radical doubt, questioning senses, dreams, even arithmetic, he isolated the indubitable certainty of his own thinking self, distinct from the material body. This dualism posits mind and matter as separate domains, a divide that persists in debates today. Materialism challenges it outright. Consciousness reduces to neural processes, thoughts mere electrochemical events in the brain. In contrast, idealism, as advanced by George Berkeley, asserts that existence hinges on perception. To be is to be perceived. An unobserved tree in a forest, it lacks independent reality, sustained instead by a divine mind. What if only your mind endures? Solipsism posits precisely that. The external world may be a solitary fabrication of your consciousness, rendering others mere projections. This leads to nihilism, Friedrich Nietzsche's stark proclamation that life harbors no intrinsic purpose. Traditional values, unmoored by the death of God, demand reinvention. Yet Nietzsche urged transcendence, emerge as the Übermensch, crafting values from the abyss. Absurdism, Albert Camus' response, confronts the universe's silence not with despair, but defiance. Embrace the Sisyphean struggle, finding vitality in its repetition. Transitioning to epistemology, how do we acquire genuine knowledge? Skepticism, from ancient Pyrrho to modern simulations like the brain in a vat hypothesis, urges suspension of certainty for peace of mind. Are we ensnared in a matrix-like illusion? Rationalism counters with innate reason. Descartes and Leibniz held that logical truths reside innately in the intellect, superior to fallible experience. Empiricism, John Locke's tabula rasa, insists the mind begins as a blank slate, inscribed solely by sensory input. David Hume intensified this. Causation? Not observed directly, but inferred from habitual patterns. Billiard balls colliding suggest influence, yet prove nothing absolute. A pivotal disruption arrived with Edmund Gettier's 1963 problem. Knowledge exceeds justified true belief. Envision believing your parked car remains in the garage, warranted by recent sighting and factually true, yet a deceptive replica and unnoticed tow undermine true comprehension. Pragmatism, via William James and John Dewey, sidesteps such quandaries. Truth is pragmatic utility. What endures in practice prevails. Ethics now demands our scrutiny, the realm of moral deliberation. Utilitarianism, Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill's framework, prescribes actions maximizing overall happiness. In the trolley dilemma, diverting the car to sacrifice one life over 5 aligns with net welfare. Deontology, Immanuel Kant's imperative, prioritizes duty, universalized principles without exception. Deception, even to avert harm, erodes moral law. Virtue ethics revives Aristotle. Excellence lies in habitual character, courage as the mean between cowardice and rashness, fostering eudaimonia, human flourishing. Existentialism elevates individual agency. Jean-Paul Sartre declared, "Existence precedes essence. We arrive purposeless, authoring our identity through unyielding freedom." Evasion via bad faith, blaming circumstance, invites alienation. Authenticity requires confronting this void. Martin Heidegger enriched the discourse. Design, or being there, grapples with mortality's anxiety, urging resolute engagement with one's thrown existence. The free will enigma persists. Determinism views choices as predetermined chains from cosmic origins. Pierre-Simon Laplace's hypothetical demon could foresee all. Compatibilism reconciles it. Liberty means uncoerced pursuit of desires, irrespective of their origins. Libertarianism invokes indeterminacy, perhaps quantum or volitional, to affirm true autonomy. In philosophy of mind, Qualia, the subjective essence of experience, like pain's sharpness, pose the hard problem. Why does physical process yield felt awareness? David Chalmers's philosophical zombies, behaviorally identical yet unconscious, highlight this explanatory chasm. Panpsychism proposes consciousness as fundamental, permeating all matter. Logic equips precise reasoning. Deduction yields certainty from premises. All humans are mortal. Socrates is human. Thus, Socrates is mortal. Induction generalizes probabilistically. Observed white swans suggest universality until a black swan disproves it. Vigilance against fallacies sharpens thought. Ad hominem dismisses arguments via personal attack. Strawman distorts positions for easy refutation. Slippery slope exaggerates incremental risks. Political philosophy charts societal order. Thomas Hobbes envisioned a pre-social state of nature as warlike brutality, necessitating the Leviathan, a sovereign enforcing peace via social contract. John Locke tempered this. Authority safeguards inherent rights to life, liberty, and property. Transgression justifies rebellion. Jean-Jacques Rousseau idealized collective will, binding individuals in mutual freedom, though often at personal cost. Karl Marx reframed history as class antagonism. Economic dialectics propel revolution, liberating the proletariat from capitalist exploitation. Anarchism, Pierre-Joseph Proudhon and Mikhail Bakunin's vision, rejects hierarchy altogether, favoring cooperative self-governance. Feminist philosophy interrogates constructed identities. Simone de Beauvoir observed that one is not born but rather becomes a woman, gender as imposed narrative. Judith Butler extended this via performativity. Repeated acts constitute identity, exposing its fragility. Critical race theory, from Webb Du Bois to bell hooks, unveils systemic racialization, privilege as an unearned knapsack, burdening the marginalized. Eastern traditions offer complementary lenses. Confucianism prioritizes relational harmony. Ren, benevolence, and Li, ritual propriety, sustain social bonds through defined roles. Taoism, Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, advocates Wu Wei, non-striving alignment with the ineffable Tao, balancing yin and yang in fluid paradox. Buddhism delineates suffering's origins. The Four Noble Truths identify dukkha from craving, remedied by the Eightfold Path toward nirvana, extinguishing desire's cycle. Hinduism posits Brahman as ultimate unity, Atman, the inner self. Maya, illusion of duality, dissolves in moksha's liberation. Stoicism, bridging eras, counsels equanimity. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius distinguished controllables, judgments, from indifference, events, embracing amor fati, fate's loving acceptance. Phenomenology, Edmund Husserl's method, suspends presuppositions to encounter phenomena as they are, with Maurice Merleau-Ponty emphasizing embodied perception's reciprocity. Postmodernism dismantles certainties. Jacques Derrida's difference reveals meaning's perpetual slippage. Michel Foucault traced power's capillary infiltration, knowledge as regime. Jean-François Lyotard proclaimed the end of meta-narratives, favoring fragmented local truths. In contemporary currents, effective altruism, Peter Singer's imperative, equates distant suffering with proximate. Donating averts equivalent harm to splashing a drowning child. Transhumanism, Nick Bostrom's simulations and Ray Kurzweil's singularity, envisions augmented humanity transcending biological limits. Environmental ethics, Arne Naess's deep ecology, rejects anthropocentrism. Humanity as ecological participant, not overlord. Queer theory, Eve Kosofsky-Sedgwick's closet epistemology, deconstructs normative desires enforcement. Animal ethics indicts speciesism. Singer parallels factory farming's cruelties to historical injustices. Analytic philosophy refines language's role. Ludwig Wittgenstein's language games insist meaning arises in contextual use, rendering private languages incoherent. From Platonic shadows to postmodern fragments, these concepts illuminate existence's contours. Which resonates most profoundly with you, the Stoic's resolve, the existentialist's burden, or the pragmatist's utility? Reflect, apply, debate. Philosophy thrives in dialogue. Share your insights in the comments and subscribe for deeper dives into the human condition.